Yes! The day has finally arrived. All Hallows Eve, October 31st, the day when the boundaries between the light world and the dark world are at their weakest. And this, of course, has nothing to do with this video because this is the 13 Nights of HoroWeen. Woo! Counting down the top 13 best One Piece villains and antagonists as voted by you. That's right, you. This would not be possible without you sitting there in your chair drinking Diet Dr. Pepper while jerking off. This would not be popular without you right now. Okay. And we've now arrived at the numero uno, the number one entry on this list. A lot of people thought it was Doflamingo. I kept telling you guys, it's not. You keep thinking it's gonna be, but it's not. All right, whatever. Anyway, I'm just going to reveal it to you. I'm not going to be persnickety or anything with it. I'm not going to try to lead you into thinking it's somebody else. I'm just going to come outright and tell you the person that received over 2,000 votes in this contest. Of course, the only real One Piece villain that gives a shit at the end of the day. Wicked Dick. Oh, yeah! I mean, come on now. Crocodile, Blackbeard, I mean, this guy is carrying a giant pistol cannon on his shoulders. He goes around with that epic beard. Look at that outfit right there that so perfectly accentuates his and he goes around and he's outright and says it. I'm Wicked Dick. That's right. And he goes around, he's only part in the story, but the part that sold it was during Zoro's backstory. It was an anime filler, but he captured the hearts of millions of fans in that one scene where he appeared. And it would seem in that episode that Zoro was the one that actually bested him. It would seem at the end of the episode even that Zoro cut off Wicked Dick's dick. But as we know now, it was actually a ruse. And when we don't see the scene afterwards where Zoro's swords shatter into 1,000 pieces. Because when Zoro charged at Wicked Dick, it was full on in chub mode. And it, smacked against the swords and they cracked. He's just the best villain that's ever existed in One Piece. If you haven't seen his episode, his magnum opus, you need to go watch it right now and really get the full breadth of what it is. And even his name is so awesome that they didn't even change it in the 4Kids dub. That's right, the 4Kids dub. The people that change everything. The people that edit out random text on books for no real reason other than just like, hey kids, you want to read? Screw you. Or just editing out everything that even has, cleavage. You got to remove all that with all the crazy puns. But they did not edit out Wicked Dick's name. Because that's just how powerful it is. So yeah, that's it. That's the end of HoroWeen. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope that you will understand. I hope that you will get a piece of Wicked Dick in your life today. This is Vampire Tekking, and
Aha! At last I have found you.
Oh shit, I feel like something really stupid is about to happen. Ah! The light! It doesn't really burn because it's not actually sunlight. Okay.
Prepare yourself, denizen of Dio, evil vampire. I, Jojo Tekking, have now arrived to finish you with my hormone power.
Yeah, okay, I did not understand a single fucking word of any of that.
Ha! I care not for your ignorance, vampire. I am here but for 2 reasons. To vanquish your evil ass, and 2, to look absolutely fabulous while doing it, while also wearing clothing that makes really no practical sense. I'm wearing suspenders even though I have a belt on. I don't care, it makes me look cool and distinct. Now, bring it on!
Okay, you're a vampire hunter. Okay, jeez. I was confused there for a second. You might wanna cut to the wooden stake and the cross next time, buddy. I've dealt with your kind plenty of times before, and it always ends the same way. I'm kind of an expert at it at this point. Alright, so what's it going to be? The aforementioned staking, or the good old-fashioned sticks in a freaking line? Or are you gonna bust out the holy water? Oh, here's an oldie but a goodie. The thorns of the hawthorn tree. I haven't seen that one in forever, but if you got some hawthorn on you, bring it on. This is gonna be cool.
Ha! That's child's play. Everyone knows that there's only one way to truly vanquish a vampire, with the hormone technique.
Come on with what? What are you talking about, you raving lunatic?
Whew. Now behold my steadfast might. Sunlight yellow, overdrive!
Ah, you dick! What the hell did you do to me? That shit burns! Ah!
You may have my pity, but there shall be no mercy from Jojo Tekking on this day.
Oh, I swear to God, I am gonna snap your neck!
And now victory shall cover these lands, as well as many more to come. Speaking of which, where am I? You know, you spend so much time tracking down vampires, you know, you start to lose track of where you actually are. Okay, I know a few weeks back I had to board a plane and I arrived in another continent, so that's probably where we are right now. But I'm not really sure where this is. I mean, speaking of which, what was he doing? Just standing in front of a... Hold on a second, what is HoroWeen? What the hell? Let's see, One Piece, best villains and antagonists. Oh, he was doing a One Piece popularity poll. See, that was the downside of a lot of vampires. People think sleeping in their coffins, you know, that's when they're the most vulnerable. Actually, it turns out, from an experienced vampire hunter such as myself, it's when they're doing popularity polls on the internet. That is when they're truly the most vulnerable. Speaking of which, though, he did a top 13 best villains in One Piece, and he didn't even mention Doflamingo? What an idiot. Screw it, I got nothing else to do. I mean, I guess I could go and try to track down Dio, but that's probably going to be like several more months. And I hear he's back in Egypt, so I got to backtrack. I'm just not in the mood to do that right now. I actually used up all my frequent flyer miles just getting here. So yeah, I guess I could finish this off. I'm a One Piece buff. Let's do this. Yeah, sure. Okay, here we go. Okay, so Don Quixote Doflamingo. I'll tell you what he represents, okay? He represents Oda's, like, use of foreshadowing and build-up perfectly, okay? This is not a villain that's been set up like the arc before. Like, we have that sometimes. Like, ooh, the Straw Hats are leaving this island, and on the next island, there's a shadowy figure in the background, and that's going to be the main antagonist coming up. Or even, maybe not necessarily the next arc. Like, look at Big Mom. You know, Big Mom was kind of shown as being, like, in that shadowy silhouette at the end of Fishman Island, and then we had Punk Hazard, and then we had Dressrosa, and then we had Zoe, and then boom, their Big Mom shows up. So, all told, that was like a few years of a gap there. That was like 3 or 4 years of a gap until we actually got her as the main antagonist of an arc. Doflamingo, oh wow, like, set up since the end of Alabasta, which is when he made his first appearance, arriving at Marie-Joie with Kuma and having that little meeting there, and we got a hint at his Devil Fruit ability being able to, like, manipulate others, but it was through Jaya and Skypiea and Long Ring Long Land and Water 7 and Ennie's Lobby and Thriller Bark and Sabaody and Marineford, where he did a little bit, and then the time skip, and then return to Sabaody, and then the Fishman Island arc, and then Punk Hazard, and then finally, Dressrosa, where he becomes the main antagonist. This is a span of over a decade. Alright, that Oda has been setting this guy up, and you know that Oda was just sitting on a pile of notes for Doflamingo's character, like what he was going to be, and what his power was, and what his personality was going to be like, and what his backstory was all about, and he was just sitting on this shit for years and years and years, and then finally it all culminates, partly in the Punk Hazard arc, where he's mentioned quite a bit as Joker, as the underground broker, the head of this underground mafia, you know, smuggling ring of these artificial devil fruits, and then finally arriving at the apex with Dressrosa. Now, you might have your problems with Dressrosa. It does tend to lag at times. It is the longest arc in One Piece, period. 100 chapters, almost perfectly, from chapters 700 to 800, if you include the little post-arc there, like post-Dressrosa, when everybody's recovering and everything like that. But still, 100 chapters, hey, you know what? I would have been so disappointed if we got anything less. Okay, this is a character that's been set up for over a decade. Well, the arc that's going to center around him, the arc that's going to feature him as the main antagonist, and, you know, Luffy's going to have to fight him at the end of it, I would be disappointed if it was anything less than 100 chapters, wouldn't you? I mean, yeah, it has its ups and downs, it's 100 chapters, but all told, I think it's a pretty solid story. Doflamingo's backstory
you know, just like a lot of other characters in One Piece, turns out it's depressing, who'da thunk it, but it's something that you really kind of honestly feel for the dude a little bit. Just a little bit, alright? Let me just go through this really quick, okay? So, Doflamingo lived with his family in Marijois. They were celestial dragons. They were world nobles. And then his father decided, you know what, I've had enough of living this kind of lifestyle. I want to know what it's like to live as a normal human. Now, that idea right there might seem like a good thing, you know, like Don Quixote homing, that's, you know, Doflamingo's father. That might seem like, oh, he's a good guy. He just wants to live with the rest of the humans. See, it's good on paper to declare his humanity, but in the way that the One Piece world is set up and the way that the citizens absolutely despise the world government, it's just, he wasn't educated enough. He didn't know how the normal citizens viewed them. All right, and because of that, he thought he could just walk into normal, you know, civilization and talk to normal humans like it's not a big deal. And I think he even went around saying who he was. Like, he didn't even try to, they didn't come up to, like, with any clever aliases or anything. They just went around stating that, yeah, I'm Don Quixote homing, and I was a member, I lived in Marijois, and I used to be a world noble. And so that rightfully ended in them being chased down. Now, no matter how much you dislike Doflamingo, you know, how much of an asshole he is and how cruel he is, you have to feel for him as like an 8-year-old kid being chased down by an angry mob wanting to kill him just because he happens to be related to people that have done some nefarious stuff. Now, Doflamingo at this point is also kind of a bratty kid. I mean, he's been raised as a world noble, so he has no qualms about going around, ordering around people like slaves and taking out a gun and shooting people. But at the end of the day, he's still just a kid. And we see that with his brother, Roshinate, that he's able to, you know, it's not just the dark path. You know, Roshinate was raised in this same environment, and he was able to come out of it at the end of the day as a decent human being. So, who knows? Maybe Doflamingo was too far gone even as a little kid, but after spending like a few years in this squalor after his mother died because of the poor living conditions they were in, Doflamingo at age 10 had decided he had enough of this, pulled out a gun, and shot his father. You know, shot his father while his father was holding on to Roshinate, like, I'm sorry, I couldn't be a better father to you. And Doflamingo's like, I'm tired of this, you've ruined our lives. And so then Doflamingo then takes his father's head back to freaking Marijois, trying to get entrance into that place, and through a series of events throughout his life, he eventually became the head of the crime syndicate family, the Doflamingo family, and eventually he became the ruler of Dressrosa and a member of the Seven Warlords. But even beyond that is that the level of intelligence that Doflamingo has, as well as with his manipulation skills, even the higher-ups, like the world government and the Gorosei, are kind of scared of him because of the stuff that he knows and the stuff that he could do if he was left to his own devices. So they were kind of strong-armed, kind of forced into letting him become a warlord. Keep in mind, I'm talking about the Gorosei and the world nobles being strong-armed by Doflamingo to let him join. Alright, so that's like the level of manipulation we have going on here with this dude. Manipulates the entire citizenry of Dressrosa into making him think that, you know, he is this benefactor, he is their savior, after he used his parasite ability in order to, you know, kill a bunch of hapless citizens by the king's own hand, you know, manipulating King Dold, and then he shows up with his crew and saves the day, and all the citizens are like, oh, hail Doflamingo, our king, who was completely nice and considerate up till this point when he started killing everybody all of a sudden. We hate him, and then you showed up right at the exact same moment. Actually, really good timing on that, thank you. And you saved the day. We choose not to question this in the slightest and just disregard our king, who we loved for many years, and now love you unconditionally even though we just met you. Yeah! So, okay, well, then again, you're really not gonna argue with the crew. Sugar was along with them. Sugar has the ability to control the citizenry even more, so even if they did ask questions where they shouldn't, you know, be asking them, you know, Sugar could just pop them and turn them into toys, and then you got a perfect system going on. And that really does feel like Doflamingo does have a severe chokehold on this country. You know, and then that's when Luffy and Law and the gang showed up, and they were in for a fight of their life, really. My favorite moment from Doflamingo, and I guess I'll just close on this because there's just so much. I mean, there's a discussion video about this. You go check that out. But my absolute favorite moment from Doflamingo is when he has a confrontation between Luffy and Law. And now keep in mind, Doflamingo's in his 40s, okay? So he's seen some shit, all right? Killed his father at age 10, had to kill his own brother later on when he was in his 20s, you know, was almost burned alive, had his face severely maimed, his eyes are really messed up. We don't know what they look like, but we can assume that at least one of his eyes are, you know, either he's missing the pupil or severe scarring or something. He keeps his sunglasses covering them. He suffered a lot, and he's in his 40s. Then he looks down at Law and Luffy, who are only in their 20s. Law is like 20, I think like 27 or 26 or something like that, and Luffy's only 19. So he sees these two people coming up like they got problems, and Doflamingo says, "I don't have time to deal with your childish freaking problems, okay? I am an adult. I'm the one that's seen some shit. Your little trivial child, you're nothing. You're babes in the crib compared to me." I like that because it really does give you an idea just how much shit Doflamingo's gone through. And in his eyes, compared to that, the shit that Luffy and Law have gone through, they are nothing more than just the tantrums of children to him. All right, that's all they are, and he's the you know, the big bad adult that's gonna, you know, like, okay, all right, you kids wanna bitch to me, all right, well, I'm gonna, you know, bend you over my knee and I'm gonna spank the shit out of you. Then you'll learn, maybe you'll get an idea of where the difference of power here is. Of course, Luffy does triumph at the end of the day, along with Law's help. I feel like if Law wasn't there, Luffy would not have won, because Law dealt a significant amount of damage to Doflamingo using his Gamma Knife and a lot of other techniques he was really clever with. So if it wasn't for Law's help, I don't think Luffy would have done as well as he did. And even with Luffy, the first time going Gear 4th, you know, Oda could have written that so easily. Like, Luffy goes Gear 4th, Kong guns Doflamingo, that's the coup de grace, end of fight. But no, he goes into this brand new form, and Doflamingo is actually, you know, he's tanking hits. You know, like Kong gun, Colver and Rhino Schneider, Leo Bazooka. He keeps getting up. He's like the freaking Terminator here. And he's like, oh, you can't win. You just can't win. I'm better at everything than you. I'm better at using hockey. I'm better at my devil fruit. I have more experience. You can't win. And then finally, it is that arrogance that really does get the better of him eventually, with Luffy using, you know, his last, you know, big gambit, you know, the King Kong gun that manages to beat him. But it was a hard-fought fight. It was not easy in the slightest. So, with all that being said, I mean, right now anyway, I mean, maybe somebody else will come along in the future, but for right now anyway, I think he is one of, if not the most iconic villains in the One Piece story. You know, maybe you have your other, you know, viewpoint. You know, you think Crocodile is the most iconic, or Eneru, or Lucci, or Blackbeard. But for many people right now, and also considering that Dressrosa is rather recent, right now, when you think One Piece villain, you think of Dofi. So, yeah, it's pretty good there. Okay. Well, anyway, yeah, thanks for watching this thing. What was it called again? Oh, the 13 Nights of HoroWeen. Ha ha ha. Oh, I'm supposed to. Okay. Ha. Ooh. Okay. Whatever. Yeah. So that's that. Thanks for watching. I guess I'm gonna go and search for a vampire overlord. So you guys. Okay. I'm just gonna turn the recording off now. Later. Oh my god! I've seen eternity! Holy shit. Okay. Oh, well, I guess we are playing by Hellsing rules, I suppose. Yeah. You know how they do it in Hellsing, like with Alucard, how he can, like, consume other people's blood and then their essence goes into him? And at that point, it doesn't really matter what happens with their physical body because their essence lives on in Alucard. And after Alucard, you know, he's defeated and the people go out and their souls are freed or whatever the fuck. Okay, I'm back. I'm good. It's alright. I have no idea who defeated and slayed Vampire Tekking, but my hat's off to them. Or her. Oh man, that would have been so cool if it was like a busty vampire hunter that came in here and took out Vampire Tekking, and now she's going to appear again and we're going to go off into the sunset together. Yeah, okay, it was worth a shot. Anyway, I guess HoroWeen's over now. I missed all of it, so that kind of blows. I had a plan. I had everything set to go. That vampire dipshit probably didn't even do the contest. Yeah, that's right, a contest. I had an idea for a contest to go along with HoroWeen, but then I got my neck snapped, and then my blood, and then my body, I think, was eaten by wolves or coyotes or something. I don't know. It was kind of hazy when I was in the nether region. You know what? Screw it. I still want to do the contest. We're doing it. It's still on. And this is a legitimate contest, too, with a real fabulous prize. Okay, so here's the deal. Entering the contest is really simple, okay? If you remember correctly, at the beginning of every single episode of the 13 Nights of HoroWeen, the introduction plays. You know, you have the scene with the moon and the bats and the logo and everything. Also, in each one of these intros, as I'm sure you've probably noticed, Eneru appears in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. And Indeed. And every time he does that, he's wearing a particular mask, or he's dressed as a horror character from some form of fiction. Not all of them are horror movies. Some of them might be from video games, or television shows, or from a book, or something like that. But they're all horror characters from that realm of fiction, okay? So what you need to do to be entered in a chance to win a $50 Amazon gift card, that's what I'll be giving out, $50 Amazon gift card, is that you need to send me a full roster of every single character that Eneru is portraying, as well as where they originate from. Okay? And you know what? I'll even give you a freebie right here. Actually, I'm going to give you 2 freebies, because out of the 13 Nights of HoroWeen, one of them, Eneru doesn't even appear with a mask or anything, and that was number 5, because that was the episode where we talked about Eneru, so therefore, I didn't think it would be appropriate to have a mask on him. So that's a freebie already, because he's not dressed as anything. Right, so already 1 out of the gate, so you're only down to 12, and I'm going to give you the other one right here, okay? So this is the first one that we used right here. Alright, this is from episode 13, and you have Eneru there wearing this mask. So this mask is obviously the mask of Jason Voorhees from the Friday the 13th movie franchise. So what you would do is you would just type in, you know, Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th. Alright, and you don't have to be specific with it. Like, I know Jason wasn't the killer in the first Friday the 13th, and he's worn different masks. You don't have to be exact, like, the exact movie it comes from. Just general, like, that, you know, he's dressed as Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th. But you have to give me the full roster of all 11. Hey guys, just really quick, as I was editing this and going through all the different Eneru masks, I've discovered that in one of them I used Batman. And I think that might confuse some people, because Batman is not a horror icon, he's a superhero. So instead we're just going to exclude Batman as well, which works because now we have a nice round number. We have 10. So you have to tell me the 10 horror movie characters that are represented by these Enerus right here on the screen. I was going to have you go back through the different videos, but I'm not even going to do that. Here you go. Here's all 10 right here. Just tell me the characters that Eneru is portraying right here and where they originate from, and then send it to the email, Tekking101@gmail.com, and then that will be a valid entry into the contest. Okay, just wanted to clarify that there. And if you correctly do that, then you will be entered in a chance to win a $50 Amazon gift card. That is if more than one person guesses all 11. There might only ever be one. And where you're going to send this information, you're going to send it to Tekking101@gmail.com. That's my vlog channel's email. So send it to that one right there, Tekking1001@gmail.com. Okay, you don't have to be exact, but, you know, just generally ballpark. And some of them are fairly difficult, too. I wanted to make this fun, all right? So, you know, a few are easy. A few are just kind of like, right out of the park. But there's a few that are, I hope, are there, you know, you're scratching your head a little bit, that you actually have to think about it, okay? And some of them are fairly obscure. So, get ready for this one. In fact, they're so obscure. Some of them are really obscure. I wonder if I should give you guys a hint. You know, nah, that would make it too easy. I'm a little bit sadistic. It is Halloween. I want to see you guys squirm. Nah, okay. You know what? I'll give you a hint. I'm nothing if not a nice guy. All right, you want a hint, mofos? Here's your hint. I'm so evil. Well, anyway, happy hunting, everybody. Oh, and if you think you could just use Google image reverse search, well, I mean, you can try. Don't know how far you'd get, but you could try. Happy HoroWeen to all, and to all a good night. Alright, I need to go eat something. Been in hell for like the past, 10 days or whatever.